All right. Oh, it's Sunday. I'm posting a video right now. I just made some habanero salsa. So my daughter loves it. But I think she's being tortured right now. I mean, 2 pounds of habanero. Let me see if it's posted yet. Yes, I do cook. I love cooking. I've been cooking since I was a little boy. My mama raised us by herself. She worked as a bartender, so she was never home at night. So we were always eating tinfoil TV dinners. So I learned how to cook when I was 8 years old. And all right. So I got to I don't have to keep an eye on this here. So let me check to see if the habanero salsa video is posted yet. No views. Not yet. Is it posted? Does it work? My internet down here for Wi-Fi isn't that good. I actually have my computer hardwired. I really should put like what do you call it, Wi-Fi extender. I don't know if those are gimmicks or not, but oh well. Check out the habanero salsa thing. So I finished Bello's tree. He likes it. So thinking, think. Nobody's on yet. I want to talk fishing. Hey, a cool catalog I got in the mail. Before I moved up here, I wanted to do sort of like a Gibbs thing and build a boat in my basement. But then again, my basement's sealed up, so you can never get the boat out. Don't ask me how Gibbs got his boat out. But I want to build a boat one day. So there's this company called Chesapeake Light Craft. Basically, they make kits, complete kits, pre-cut and everything. And you can build kayaks, paddle boards, full-on boats. There's one boat here. Where is it? This is the boat I want to build. Not the yawl, not the pram. Nope. Wait a minute. Jimmy skiff. This one. This is the one I want to build. That's the one I want to build. It's good for beginning builders. We can make it a sailboat or a motorboat, either way. It's Jimmy Skiff 2. And that's a real fun, and it looks like a real fun one. The Southwest Dory is my second pick. It looks more complicated though. It's a bigger boat. That's this one. It's double sail. So this is a beautiful catalog. It's their 30-year catalog. So they even have a weekender, what they call a pocket ship. I almost bought a weekender once. This looks a little more complicated. I mean, you're building basically a cubby cabin in there. But, I mean, 2 people can sleep in it. Be a fun weekender, just take it out for a weekend, sleep on a lake, do some fishing off of it. Again, it could be a motorboat or a sailboat. It's designed to be a sailboat with like a little motor on it. I love sailing. I always love sailing. But see, they give you this like estimate. Okay, right down here. You see it. Build time 650 hours. Estimated build time 650 hours. I talked to a local guy who built one of these boats, not this one. I think he did the Dory. And he says he did it. I mean, it looks beautiful, but it took him a lot longer than it told him. Because the Dory, let's see, how much is the Dory? 250 hours. So 650 hours, if you go at it full time, 40 hours a week, if you didn't have a life. 12, 15, 16 weeks. That's what it would take you. You have built a boat. It's got a retractable keel on it. Really cool. And it looks like, I mean, now you're wondering, how much does a boat like this cost? A pocket ship. Let's see. How much does a pocket ship cost? There it is. Yeah. When you're all said and done, $7,000, $8,000. Yeah, I say 8,000 for a pocket ship. Now, I almost bought an O'Day. I actually put a deposit down on an O'Day many, many years ago. And I cannot remember how much that O'Day cost. 30,000 maybe? No, it wasn't that much. Before kids, when I had money. Yeah. So, but yeah, I always wondered, that'd be fun. Some of the kayaks are beautiful, but I'm too fat for those kayaks. So there's one kayak and two kayaks in there I can actually fit in, and it'll float me. Gotta lose weight, gotta lose weight, gotta lose weight. So nobody on yet. Huh. Well, this is what I'll do. Since I released a new book, ain't nobody on yet. Let's read from it. So this is Orion Rising. Now, in the first book, okay, Paul Orion is a greedy person. And go up straight. Not going in all the way, I don't think. Yes, I guess. Anyway, the Phoenix, this ship, is the only ship in existence with what's called a warp drive. Now, there are light speed engines, which are not the same thing. See, what warp does, here's the plane of space. Warp creates a disturbance in space that folds space, which allows you to take something that's far, far away, come to you, and you can punch through it, taking a shortcut. Now, one thing about warping is that you don't, on the other side, I mean, you really can't go diagonally when you warp, all right? I mean, so you got to know where you're going, and you got to know the spot on the other side, on your side of space that you have to travel to get to that spot, all right? So there are jump points. Well, Paul Orion's an asteroid mining guy. So he basically, he's a miner, owns a huge company, super billionaire, and he wants to work technology to further his greed, his money. And Mike, the captain of the Phoenix, you don't want to sell it to him for that. I mean, he's kind of a philanthropist. But see, the Earth in Phoenix Rising is running out of some rare Earth material, and he's got to go find some in order to save mankind. And so he's got his agenda. Well, Paul Orion wants the warp drive. Mike needs to save the Earth. And the whole book is about him trying to get it, and Mike trying to save the Earth. Paul's trying to get the warp drive. Well, in the end, Paul doesn't get it. All right? I mean, it's not a spoiler because it's called Orion Rising. And he's mad. Mike just made him mad, is what he did. So in Orion Rising, Orion's now out of power. In the first book, he was removed from power. But he makes alliances with 3 crime syndicate guys. Very, very dark, very wealthy guys. And in order to finance his revenge, he still wants a warp drive, and that's what he's promised the syndicate. But the warp drive is second to his hatred towards me. So let's pick it up. We'll read a couple chapters. But here's the prologue. Paul Orion makes his way down a long corridor with dim overhead lighting. Turning to his right, ascends up a staircase to a long observation deck. Sounds of heavy machinery are hard at work. Leaning onto the rail, grasping it tightly, his muscles and veins are straining as he looks at the large space carrier bearing his name. Orion stares at this monstrosity of a ship to wreak vengeance upon the one man that has disposed him from his world of wealth and fame, Michael Zerilli. His muscles tighten as his heart beats faster, seeing the carrier coming to completion. His plans are coming to fruition. This small base is located on the dwarf planet Ceres, within the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Ceres is made up of an icy mantle with ice volcanoes along its surface. Ceres has hidden an internal ocean under its surface, which, by the way, all that is true. It really does exist, and this is the description of Ceres. Ceres has hidden in an internal ocean under its surface. The crater next to the ice volcano, Ahuna Mons, is among the largest on the surface. It descends some 3 miles down where a large spaceport and shipyard is hiding. Paul Orion, although removed from his company, still had great wealth and influence. Today, he has gathered the heads of his previous trade partners to plan his rise to power once again. Standing on the observation deck above his newest creation, admiring it, his chief of security, Kevin Robinson, a bold African with a muscular build, approaches him. "Excuse me, sir. Our guests are arriving." Orion's eyes widen, grinning. "Excellent. Gather them in the briefing room. I will be there shortly." "Yes, sir." Robinson turns and heads down the stairs. Orion clutching his hands together, knowing that his plan is finally starting to take shape, and soon he will have his revenge on the Phoenix and those that betrayed him. "Hey, Brandon." I'm reading from a book. Ain't nobody was on. Want me to keep reading? Knock out this chapter? It's the very beginning of the Orion Rising, by the way. Somebody want me to keep reading. So Orion, he takes one last look at his beautiful carrier before making his way to the briefing room to meet his guests. Orion enters the briefing room to meet his three guests. All three are at the wet bar helping themselves. Santone's Valentini, a large Sicilian, heads the mafia on Earth and is sipping on a cognac as he swishes the large glass in between sips. Valentini raises his eyebrow as Orion enters the room, gazing at him with a sudden focus. His sunken brown eyes and brown hair frame his smirk at seeing Orion. Yeah, I figured you're making some baits. You could listen to an audiobook. While you're making baits, I will give you my audiobook, me reading it. So, Pedro Chavez heads the Latino syndicate in both hemispheres, rubbing the back of his neck as if it was sore, stopping what seemed to be his casual conversation to silence. A glare of skepticism is seen by all. The third in the room simply is called Boris. His muscular frame deceives one from his blonde hair, blue-eyed man's age of 55. Boris heads the former Soviet and Asian states trades. Pacing the room as if he was expecting a newborn baby, clearing his throat a few times, he tries wetting it with shots of vodka. Good day, gentlemen. Have a seat, Orion says, with a smile and a wave of his hand, motioning to the table. Orion stands at the head of the table with a curious grin. I am glad to see you all here. No, I am glad to see all of you have made this journey. Valentini spoke first. We hope this summons means you have good news to us. Narrowing his eyes within his dark sockets, again focusing on Orion without flinching. Very good news. Thrusting his chest out and shoulders back, we have a lot riding on this venture together. Your money and resources have been well spent. Orion turns on the monitor. Images of the Orion carrier flash on the screen. Boris skeptically speaks. It's a pretty ship, but worthless without the warp drive. Chavez chimes in. Yes. What is the plan to obtain the schematics of the drive? Orion looks calmly at the three of them and takes his seat. Yes, the drive. Putting his hand to his chin, he says, we have set in motion a series of events that will not only get us that technology, but also eliminate the Phoenix and her crew. He grins like a Cheshire cat. Valentini, with an air of skepticism, leans forward. I worry when someone looks as so smug about a plan, especially when he has failed before against the same opponent. Orion purses his lips, holding back anger from his losses to the Phoenix. I understand your concern. This time I have attacked a ship that only the Phoenix can respond, while we have arranged an overwhelming force to greet him and his crew with enough force to accomplish our mission. The three of them sit back, not entirely confident as Orion seems to be. The Phoenix and her captain are a tough target, a target none of their syndicates could overtake. Boris inquired of his plan. Tell us, when will this happen? And what is the turnaround time for the acquisition and installation of the warp drive? Orion leans back, sipping on his drink. Oh, I need a drink. With a sharp gaze at all three, it has already begun. Inside a week, we will start modifications on the carrier. And then we will be ready to launch our counterstrike and get back what we lost. Each of the three of them look at each other, nod. Chavez raises his glass. All three of them join. To the death of the Phoenix and to the rise of Orion. All glasses touch as they finish the drinks in one long gulp. So that's the prologue. Sets the stage. Oh, nice. I love crappie. Make crappie stuff. I love crappie. Okay, chapter 1, the Andronova. The captain of the Andronova, by the way, is named after one of my best friends in high school. The freighter Andronova has just picked up her cargo from Bonfa. Oh, here's Bello. Here's Bello. You can see his tail. Some 1,200 light years from Earth and is heading home. Her cargo is the rare element neodymium and lanthanum. She is one of 3 freighters with a warp drive capable of traversing the galaxy in a fraction of the time than any other design. The captain of this ship is Charles Heinrich, a seasoned captain. His tall German physique, blonde hair, and blue eyes add to his presence on the bridge high up in the tower. Charlie was a total surfer dude. we grew up with. I grew up with him. The bridge of the Andronova is located in the tallest tower at the back of the ship overlooking the long, massive hall. The captain sits just behind the pilot. Engine room, are we ready to engage the warp drive? Aye, Captain. At your command, Chief Engineer Sarah Savage quickly responded. By the way, Sarah is my niece. Engage warp drive, the captain orders. The warp drive folds space in such a way that allows a ship to jump across light years in a moment. Like folding a piece of paper and touching the 2 farthest ends together, space around the Andronova starts to stretch and pull like taffy and then snaps, revealing an entirely new sky of stars. Navigation. Plot your course to our next jump coordinates. Aye, Captain. David Rivas responds. By the way, David is an old friend of mine. He and his wife, Georgina, they died at a very young age in a car accident. I love those 2. We won't get there in one jump, Captain. The warp drive is limited in distance depending on coordinates. To go to Bantha from Earth, it'll require 3 jumps. Rivas works on his overhead display to calculate the estimated time of arrival to the next jump point. Captain, ETA to the jump coordinates is 36 hours and 12 minutes. The captain steps forward. Let's get this boat moving. Helm, set course to the next jump point and proceed at full impulse power. Down in engineering, Sarah has her hands full. The chief engineer is small. She knows engines like an old school mechanic knows his cars. Although she is in her early 30s, she has been in engine rooms since infancy. Her parents served aboard freighters for the Orion Syndicate, and now she is picking up where they left off. She walks the long room examining each nut and bolt, listening intently at the hum of the protonic engines. Her crew consists of 5 more individuals, all adept at their jobs and specifically chosen by her. The engineering has areas separated by bulkhead doors to isolate areas in case of breach. Sarah is short enough to where she doesn't have to duck going through those doors, something she is grateful for since many do bump their heads as they duck. The Andronova is equipped with sophisticated environmental systems control from a room just above engineering toward the stern. Go. The environmental officer, Hans Jurkowitz, stands at 6 feet even with a large build, long brown hair, and brown eyes. He is a new crew member on this voyage. Hans was a last-minute substitution for the previous officer who was too sick to travel. Hans works mostly by himself in the small room, about 10 by 15 meters. The room's walls are lined with control panels. Lights blink on and off, and switches are placed every 12 inches to adjust the environment. A large desk below a monitor allows Hans to change screens to see different parts of the ship and then adjust the oxygen and carbon dioxide to the environment needed to sustain life. The scrubbers need to be regulated to keep the crew from being asphyxiated. Hans has control of life and death aboard the Andronova. Sarah looks at the gauges from one area of engineering to the next as she makes her way to the rear of the ship. Entering the last compartment, she stops to look at the environmental readings of engineering. Her vision blurs for a second, but she shakes it off. Something is wrong. As she looks at the readout, her hands start to shake, heartbeat racing, trying to get a hold of the moment. Oxygen levels seem good, but her intuition says differently. She searches through the fog of her mind and grabs an oxygen mask from the overhead compartment to put on, hoping clean oxygen will help clear her mind and vision. Okay, cool. We'll talk. I like talking. It does. She radios environmental. Hans, this is engineering. What are your readouts for this part of the ship? Anything peculiar? No, sir. All's checking out okay. Sarah's confused by the answer as she feels that the oxygen has made a difference. She removes the mask and inhales it. Inhales. Blurred vision comes back, and she quickly puts the mask back on. She grabs the oxygen bottle and walks through the bulkhead, entering one room and then the next, and sees one of her crew members on the floor, bending down to read a pulse. Dead. She hits the comm button. Sick bay, medical emergency to engineering. No response. She hits the alarm to warn of a potential hazardous leak. She calls the bridge captain. Still no response. She initiates an emergency shutdown of the engines and makes her way through the ship. The crew are all dead. Sarah makes her way to the radio room on the 10th level at the base of the control tower. Officer Andrew Moya slumps over his chair. She respectfully removes him and hits the distress beacon, sending a signal into space. She worries that no one could reach them in time. Sitting in a ship of corpses, she contemplates what could have happened. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, UK. I just got done reading some of my book. So, the next chapter, the Phoenix responds to the distress call. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, Dan. You were on the last night, right? Oh, this is my new book. It's called Orion Rising. This is I'm writing a trilogy in a sci-fi genre, and this is Phoenix Rising is my first one. Orion Rising just came out a week or two ago, and the next one's called The Ring Rising, which I haven't released. That'll be released in the spring. Now the cool thing is, Rich and Leo, so I'm putting Leo in my third book, and Richard Jarvis, totally, he wanted to be a bad guy. So he is Dr. Jarvis in the new book. Kind of fun. Yeah, it's a neat thing. Is that all this stuff, I mean, I wrote all of it. It's my story. It's my imagination. And it's just, one of those things that I do. There's 3 books that I write. There's Phoenix Rising, Orion Rising, True Survival Guide for Small Businesses. It's a nonfiction book for businesses. I have 2 other books on the market too. One of them though is a illustrated book that I illustrated. I did all the cover art on these 2. I did all that too. So, you want me to keep reading? You want to talk fishing? Ain't nobody was on earlier, so I just started reading. It's like an audio book with video by the author. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, you can get them on Amazon. Yep, you got to use my name, Michael Ruffino. So, because there's another Michael Ruffino, by the way, that cusses a lot. I'm not him. But see, this is Orion Rising, and then We get spill my drink. There's Phoenix Rising. So they're both available on ebook as well as paperback, and Orion Rising is also available on hardback. So, but yeah, kind of fun. So you want me to keep reading? This is where the Phoenix, you get to meet the Phoenix, and every crew member on the Phoenix is my family. Well, my family's part of the crew. There's a few others. The fun thing about Phoenix Rising, I get to introduce all the characters in here. So this is a pretty fun book. Okay. All right. So Andrew Nova is a ship that has the warp drive technology that the bad guy wants. And now everybody on the ship is dead except for the engineer, who she thinks she's all by herself on a ship of corpses. And she's just hit a distress signal. Chapter 2, responding to the distress call. The Phoenix is the brainchild of Michael Zarilli and is fitted with his infamous warp drive. Captain of his own ship, he sits side by side with his wife, Kathy, looking over the semicircular console, holding onto a yoke. He presses a few buttons and gazes out the window ahead, laughing to himself with a warmth in his heart. "What's so funny?" Kathy asked, as if a chuckle from her husband was abnormal. "Nothing, honey. I just can never get over how incredible the universe is. Some don't see the landscape as I, but it is a landscape. Colors, lights, life, and an imaginable power." She smiled at him with a sense of contentment. The crew of the Phoenix is comprised of a family, mostly. Michael, the captain, in his early 50s. Rebecca, at 31, is their oldest child and heads a security team and weapons station. She is an expert in weapons and hand-to-hand combat, and her 6'1" height makes her athletic physique more formidable. Her blonde hair and green eyes will hypnotize most men and make them think she is an easy target, which she is not. Russell, at age 27, heads the science department and helps in the sick bay as a medic to the doctor. Then there is Lizzie, the youngest and the brightest when it comes to navigation and all things in space. At 21, her 5'9" frame and brown curly hair make you think she's too cute to be a genius. There are 4 others on this crew that is not related. Longbow is an African from Birmingham, England. Hey, love a black guy with an English accent. Tall and muscular, his charm and sarcasm are enhanced by his accent. Zeke is the chief engineer and has been with Michael since MIT. He is pudgy, bald, with a pot belly. He is incredibly smart. He and Michael collaborate on many ideas, and they care for each other like close brothers. Jay joined the crew last year after the Phoenix crew saved him and 2 Cheyennes from prison on an alien planet. Jay is an Elgarian from the planet Elgar. The race shares empathic ability within a 3-meter area. His red eyes give away his race. Tall at 6'2", he is muscular with brown hair. After several away missions with Rebecca, they have grown fond of each other and are slowly pursuing a relationship together. Alella also joined the crew as the doctor after the Phoenix visited her home planet, Shia, a planet of beautiful women in a matriarchal society. Alala is as smart as she is beautiful. A tall, dirty blonde with hazel eyes, large breasts, and a small waist, she and Russell have founded a romantic relationship that's going well. "Captain, I have a distress call from the Andronova," Lizzie urgently states. "The Andronova?" Michael, knowing this is one of the freighters he fitted with the warp drive that one of his companies owns. His heart started to race as one eyebrow rises and focuses on Lizzie. "How far is she?" Lizzie, holding her hand to her ear to listen more discreetly. Her pulse quickens as she knows something is terribly wrong. 2 light years. I have jump coordinates ready. ETA 1 hour, 10 minutes to jump. Michael looks at Kathy sitting next to him at the helm. Fastest speed possible to the jump point. We can't waste any time. The Phoenix immediately hits thrusters and starts to their jump point. Kathy's brow furrows. What do you think has gone wrong? Michael shakes his head. I don't know. But we will find out. Looking over at Rebecca, he says, get your team ready. I don't know what is happening, but if there is trouble, I need you to be ready for the worst. Rebecca has a steel look about her. Hi, Captain. We will prepare. She presses the comm button on her control panel and calls on Longbow and Jay to meet her in the weapons room. Michael then looks at Russell. Go down to sickbay and help Alala get a medical kit ready. She will be going on the away mission to tend to any injured. Russell flashes a concerned look. Aye, Captain. Unsure about sending Alala into possible danger, he heads down to sickbay. Alala sits at her desk looking at a monitor at microbial when Russell enters the room. Alala? What can I do for you? She says with a smile that instantly turns to concern when she sees Russell's face. What's wrong? Russell walks over to her as she stands up. He grabs her hands. We received a distress call from the Andronova. We are on our way to intercept her. You'll be on the away team to tend to any injured. I see, Alala says in an understanding tone. You're worried about me. Russell nods his head to confirm her guess. You know I can take care of myself. Who better for me to be with than Rebecca, Jay, and Longbow? Russell, knowing the Phoenix team is the best he has ever known, sees her logic. You're right. We just don't know what to expect, and I want you to be careful. Let the other three fight, and you do the patching up. Alala smiles at Russell and gives him a reassuring kiss, then starts to assemble a medical kit for the mission. Russell looks at her with a grin and slowly makes his way back to the bridge. Rebecca arrived at the weapons locker just behind Longbow and Jay. What the bloody hell is happening? Longbow asks in a British accent. I know, Dan. I'm working on my British accent. Rebecca opens the locker and hands the guys their weapons. The Andronova has raised a distress call. We are responding to it. Do we have any details of the distress? He takes weapons and straps a utility belt on. Rebecca fastens her utility belt and pistol harness. No, they are not responding to our hails. We'll be ready for anything. We can't let that ship fall into the wrong hands. Jay and Longbow agree, both knowing all about the ship and her fitting technology. Michael contacts engineering. Zeke. Aye, Captain. Zeke's voice is heard over the comm. Engage the warp drive, Michael commands. Space around the Phoenix stretches and pulls like tack and then snaps back, revealing the new constellation. Lizzie raises her voice with an element of curiosity. Dad? The distress beacon has been turned off and replaced with a homing beacon. Damn. Michael slamming his fist on the armrest. Full impulse power now. You don't think? Kathy said with obvious concern. Michael looks at the screen, seeing they are minutes away from the Andronova. Seems like it. She has been commandeered and is now signaling a crew to retrieve her. We don't have much time. Michael hails Rebecca to the bridge. She arrives almost instantly. It seems that the Andronova has been commandeered. I'll be going with you. Nobody steals my ship. We don't have much time until reinforcements arrive. We have to be quick. Thanks, Dan. Michael looks at Kathy. It's easy to figure out the one in the communication room is a bad guy. Oh, wait a minute. Russell alerts Michael. Dad, I'm reading only 2 life signs on the ship. One in the communications room and one in sickbay. Michael looks at Kathy. It's easy to figure out that the one in the communication room is a bad guy, assuming he changed the distress call to a homing beacon. The other, we will see. He glances at Russell. Keep track of them. Keep me apprised of their location. Russell nods and turns to his console to monitor the dots on the screen. Lizzie, Michael says, you keep an eye on long-range sensors for our expected visitors. You got it. as she turns to the controls. There she is, Michael looking through the forward view. The Phoenix, although not small, is dwarfed by the freighter. The Phoenix flies over the top of her looking for damage and then comes around her backside to her underbelly. We're going to dock underneath her to try to hide from our visitors. Michael rotates the Phoenix to dock belly to belly on the rear part of the freighter. The Phoenix belly slowly approaches the massive freighter. Michael adjusts the thrusters to create a soft landing on her and clamps lock the two ships together. Looking at his wife and kids as he gets up from his seat, he says, "Wish us well. Be back before you know it." Kathy gives her husband a peck on the cheek. "Keep the communication channel open so we can apprise you of any new developments." And, and you can babysit me? Michael says with a smirk. He then exits the bridge to meet the team at the hatch. The underbelly hatch is in a small room where the gravity can be isolated. In this case, they can turn off the gravity and enter the freighter without disorientation. Michael arrives to see Alala, Longbow, Jay, and Rebecca. He suits up his gear and closes the bulkhead door to the hatch room. "Be ready for anything. We have one hostile in communication and an unknown in sickbay. No other life signs. We will make our way to sickbay first. Alala, you stay in the middle of us as we cover the area. Longbow and I will take point. Jay, you cover our six with Rebecca. Ready?" They all nod affirmatively. Michael hits a few switches and turns off the gravity as they hold on to handrails. Then he opens the hatch. The hatch opens into a darkened cavity of the Andronova. The team enters the ship one by one. First Michael, then Longbow, then Alala, Rebecca, and Jay follow, all with weapons raised and with front sight focused on anything that they may see. Michael leads the team through one bulkhead and then another, entering the engineering room. Two bodies are on the ground. Michael and Longbow, with sights focused forward, step over the bodies and pause while Alala crouches next to them and examines the two crewmen. Alala holds her scanner over both. "Dead, Captain. Both were asphyxiated." Michael's anger wells up along with the rest of the team's anger. "Keep focused on the task at hand." A voice over their earpieces comes through. "One life sign in the communication room and sickbay. No movement," Kathy stipulates to the team. "Copy," Michael responds. He looks at the team. "Let's keep moving. Sickbay is 2 decks up." Team continues to move through the belly, stepping over more bodies. As they head up the stairwells, they continue to be on alert to any possible surprises. Making their way up to the sickbay level, they silently walk down the corridor. Finally, Michael taps his earpiece. "Status, Kathy." "No change." Michael positions Rebecca left of the door and Jay to the right. Longbow takes left, and Michael takes right. As they enter the room, Alala will follow after the room is cleared. Michael silently motions to the team with his fingers, counting down 3, 2, and then opens the door and pushes through. They enter with incredible speed and focus on each of their areas of responsibility. A scream from a startled crewman greets them. Michael looks down at a scared woman. "Sarah, are you okay?" "Shoot! You scared the crap out of me, Michael." "Yes, it's about time you get here," Sarah says with a little annoyance in her voice. "We stopped at a coffee shop on the way here. You know how I like coffee," Michael says with sarcasm, then he turns serious. "What's the situation? What happened?" Alala is examining Sarah as she fills Michael and the team in on the situation. "Hans, the communication officer, is the saboteur. He released an odorless gas through the ventilation and killed the crew. I was able to grab an oxygen tank quickly. I don't know where he is right now. He could be anywhere." Michael says with a determined tone, "We know where he is. He is in the communication room. He sent out a location beacon. We expect visitors any time now." Michael looks at her. "You come with us, and we will go visit this Hans and ask him a few questions." Sarah smirked. "You don't have to tell me twice. I have a few questions myself for that SOB." Michael looks at the team. "Let's go and get some answers. Do not shoot to kill. Understood? He then leads them down the corridor with the same stealth and alertness as they did before. One by one, they followed Michael up the staircase wells and to the level where the communications room is. In their earpieces, Kathy is keeping them apprised of the location of the hostel, still in that room waiting for his team. Michael leads the team down the corridor and without sound makes a hard right at the end where 10 feet ahead the entrance to the communication room is. Michael looks around the corner with his weapon ready to fire. It's clear. He then motions the team to take up positions for fast entry to shoot to hurt without a kill. Positions are taken outside the open door. Michael listens and hears Hans on the radio. Michael holds up his hand in a hold position as he listens. Ship is secure. Approach on the top side hatches. We have a lot of bodies to jettison out to space. Copy? I will be waiting out, Hans says. Michael looks at the team, counts down with his fingers. 3, 2, and then they burst through the open door to find Hans sitting there with a surprised look. When he stands up suddenly, Longbow shoots his right leg, causing him to collapse to the ground, grimacing in pain, holding in his leg. Michael hurries to him, grabs the back of his collar, and pulls him up to the chair, while Hans yells in pain. We have a few questions for you, Michael, his face red in anger as his body tenses, both his hands holding his shoulder. Where? How? Hans, with short questions and in obvious pain. Rebecca and Jay take point outside the door. Who is responsible for this? Michael says, cutting to the chase. Hans holds his leg and looks up at Michael and the team with a smirk. You will soon enough see. You will see soon enough. Sarah makes her way around Michael and, with a loaded arm, punches Hans in the face, unleashing quite a blow for a little lady. Hans' head snaps to the side as blood squirts from his mouth. Hans turns to Sarah with a solid stare. Feel better, Sarah? Your time is coming soon, he says with a distaste and confidence. Over their earpiece, an urgent message was coming in. I have 2 ships approaching the Andronova. You are about to be boarded. They do not see us at the moment, Kathy says. Michael looks at Hans and hits his earpiece. Copy. Putting one hand on Sarah to hold her back, Michael says, I got this, Sarah. Turning to Hans, you think your 2 ships and their crews can handle what we have waiting for them? Michael bluffs that they have an army on board. Hans, with a surprised look and obvious concern that his team may be overrun. They are well-trained soldiers. You won't win this battle, he says, losing his confidence in the situation. Michael smiled, bends over to get nose to nose with them, and squeezes his leg where the wound is. Do not underestimate me and my team, he says with a cold, hard look. You will tell me who it is that arranged this. Now. Hans screams in pain but refuses to talk. Michael grabs a knife from his belt and pushes it into Hans' other leg. Hans screams in agony. In pain, Hans screams, Orion! Orion! Michael looks at him. Thank you. Now I will make your pain go away. Reaches for his pistol and then shoots Hans, ending his agony in silence. The team quietly watches Sarah with a relaxed smile, showing pleasure in this mass murderer's demise. Michael turns to his team. We have minutes until those ships dock. Jay, did you get everything we need? Yes. I also know where his base is on Earth. Good. Michael looks at Sarah. We can't get the Andronova going fast enough. Sarah, can you set the self-destruct? I can try, she says with worry. I don't have a command code, but I can try to set the engines for an antimatter explosion. It will take some time, though. A worried look comes over Michael's face. Time is not a luxury we have. Longbow, go with Sarah and cover her if we can't hold the line here. Alala, you stay with us, just in case we need you here. He hands Alala a hand phaser. Rebecca and Jay, we have to hold them off as long as we can. The team splits up as Sarah and Longbow hurry down to engineering. The ships have docked. Kathy says in their ears, Michael looks at his daughter and Jay, we will have our hands full. Shoot to kill. Let's go kill some bad guys. Michael leads the team quickly to the corridor leading to the docking station. The battle on the Andronova. Dun, dun, dun! Chapter 3. It's quite a battle, too. Really sets the stage for the rest of the book. So what do you guys think? It's just a few chapters. If you're still listening. Have I lost you guys? Must be a boring book. Oh, well. That's a long 51 minutes. My goodness. So that's 3 chapters. The prologue and the first 2 chapters. The 3rd chapter is the battle on the Andronova. Like I said, it's pretty exciting. And it does set the stage for the rest of the book. So it's fun, 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 fun. Dun, dun, dun. Check out my recipe for the habanero salsa too. It's pretty good salsa. I feel like going up to the lake tomorrow, doing some fishing. I looked online. Looks like we got some water there that I can launch on and go up there. It was 22 degrees this morning too, and so. All right, guys. Well, I don't know if I'll keep reading the book, but so you guys know, it is available on Amazon. But I would read Phoenix Rising first and then Orion Rising. Phoenix Rising is, like I said, it's a lot more action. I know this book starts out this way. And this book does have a lot of action, but boy, I went crazy in the first book. I mean, crazy. I think we storm a castle in that one on a planet. It's pretty cool. and we fight crustacean warriors in that book. Totally cool. And we visit Shaya, a planet full of beautiful Amazonian women, with one guy, the architect. They got to have a guy for procreating, and they only have one. And he's funny. So, all right, guys. You guys enjoy your Sunday, and I hope all is well. Brandon, keep making some crappie jigs. I like crappie jigs a lot. Crappie jigs are great for everything. They catch everything. So take care, everybody.